Hey everybody, what's going on? So in my last video, one of you guys reached out to me and asked me why I didn't mention more about my own hair result or hair gains. And the thing is, that is quite a sensitive subject for me. It has been, hair loss has been a struggle for me for the last 11 years. And it has been a roller coaster when it comes with different experience with different treatments and supplements. But after a few days after that comment, I've been considering it, and here I am making this video. So I'm gonna share some small history when I started to lose my hair and my experience with different treatments and how I made this become this. And yes, that is me from last year. And actually I had a hard time to find a picture on me. So I was noticing that I always had a hat on me, or I wasn't in the family pictures. And I think that was because I was all ashamed of how I looked. So I did some changes, and I'm gonna share with you guys what kind of changes I made from last year. So in this channel, I've always been talking about how Redlight Therapy has helped me with all kind of different problems. But I believe it's unfair to give the Redlight Therapy all the creds that I improve in my hair, because I have some other routines too that have helped me. So the agenda in this video is that I'm going to give you a small or quick history when I started to lose my hair. After that, we're going to talk about my experience with Minoxidil and what that is, supplements and shampoos, and PRP treatment, microneedling, and Redlight Therapy. And all of this is actually like a timeline, so it will be almost history on different treatments and what my conclusion was around that. So I've been saying to you guys I started to lose hair back in 2015, but that is not entirely true. I actually started to lose my hair back in 2012. And I have this strong memory that I started to make jokes about my temples. I call them my parking spots. So I believe that was the first sign that I was trying to making fun of my hair loss back then. But it wasn't until 2015 I started to have more severe hair loss. I remember one time I was brushing my hair and it fell a lot of hairs down into the sink, and I was thinking, what the hell is going on here? But 8 years later I know exactly what happened. And I didn't have the ability to be more objective, or to be able to zoom out and see what was going on in my life. I was so focused on everything around me, so I couldn't see what was happening to me. But my life situation back then was that I just became a father. We bought this house. We put all our savings to be able to buy this house, so we had no money. And also I decided to become a teacher, so the salary wasn't that great. And I started to read in the university to get my teaching certification. And I had like 3 hours traveling time to come to work and back home. It was about 3 hours, I think, every day in traveling time. So sometimes I didn't have the chance to see my son. And my wife was sitting watching the news, and we were sitting there watching the news. And she went out to bed to go to sleep, and I went into the kitchen and started to make some coffee, because every night I was sitting and reading books to get my teaching certification. So I slept like 3 or 4 hours a day, and I had that lifestyle for about 3 years. And now when I've been thinking about it, it's not that weird that I probably were aging much more faster than usual, but only because I slept so less. But under that time I didn't understand it, so I began to try different treatments and supplements just to try to save some hair on my head. So 2015 was a very stressful life situation for me. And when I started to lose so much hair, I did as everybody else, I Googled it. And I found out there were a treatment where you were using a medicine to massage it in your scalp. And the medicine was called Minoxidil. And for you guys who doesn't know what Minoxidil is, maybe you're more familiar with the name Regain. It is actually a medicine from back from the 70s, and it was a medicine they were using to lowering the heart rate, I think, or the pulse. And the side effect of the medicine was that actually people begin to grow hair. So they was starting to use the medicine for hair loss treatment instead. So this is actually one of the few medicine that were back then proven to work against hair loss. So it has been around for a long time. So I thought I was mentally prepared for the Minoxidil treatment. I had read that it was very normal to lose more hair in the beginning before it began to grow back. I think you called it for shred or shredding. So I began to use Minoxidil a few weeks and I began to lose a lot of hair and I couldn't handle it. And even so, I started to have this scratching redness on my scalp, like I began to get dry in my scalp and all irritated. And also I got this headache. And I felt like my heart rate increased too. And when I'm thinking about it, how my life situation is, I think it's a little bit unfair that I blame the Minoxidil for all of this, because it could be my life situation also back then, that I only slept like 4 hours and I was drinking a lot of coffee, that I got the headaches and all of that. But I decided to stop doing my treatments, and the hair came back that I lost. And it took like a year or a year and a half. I tried Minoxidil again. So I started to use it, and after a few weeks I couldn't handle that I lost so much hair, so I stopped the treatment again. So between 2015 and 2018 was a period where I tried out Minoxidil and supplements and shampoos, and I think that was because I didn't have that much money, so I couldn't do any more expensive treatments. I had heard about some kind of laser treatment back then, but I didn't have money for that. So when it comes to supplements and shampoos, I've been trying out all kind of different brands. When it comes to the supplements, I've been trying out brands as Priorine, another brand called Silica, and they have supplements that are meant for improving your hair, nails and skin. And the only thing I'm noticing on all of these different supplements is that my nails are starting to grow much more faster. I get a little bit better skin and my hair starts to grow a little bit faster, but I don't gain any new hair. So I think that is a little bit of waste of money, because you just can go to the local store, buy the more cheaper supplements with mineral and vitamins. And when you are reading what they are containing, they contain all from copper, zinc, phosphor, selene, B vitamin and D vitamin. I believe that is one of the most important ingredients to get more healthier hair with. So I think you're good enough just to buy the more cheaper supplements. And when it comes to shampoos and other topics, I've been trying out Priorine's shampoo. That was a disaster for me because it dried out my scalp. And when that happened to me, I began to use coconut oil to moisture my scalp, because I read an article that suggested that it could improve your hair and even so help you to gain back your hair. But I didn't gain any hair back. It only helped me to moisture my scalp. So I stopped using the coconut after a while. And I also used a brand called Med. I don't know if it's a Swedish company. I tried all of their products for about 7 or 8 months. They were quite expensive, but it didn't help me. I didn't lose any hair, but it didn't help me to gain any hair back either. So I stopped using that. And I've been using topics called as Nisim. They have a blue bottle. I've used a few of those. It didn't help me. I used another brand too. I can't remember what that brand was either. That didn't work out for me either. So I've been using the last year different hair tonics. They have hair tonics with caffeine, and others with rosemary. Rosemary and tonic is really good if you want to get your hair back. But I believe if you're using this kind of product, and that I believe that is maybe one of the changes I begin to do, was that I start to massage it into my scalp instead. In the old days, I just put it in my hair, combed the hair, and was walking around with it just to let it dry out. Now I have a different approach or treatment technique. I put it in my scalp and I massage it in for about 5 to 10 minutes. And I believe when you are forcing yourself massaging your scalp, you are getting more blood circulation in the skin, and that actually has been studies that shows that you can improve your hair much better if you are massaging it. So if you are interested to see how you should massage your scalp, there's a lot of different influencers who are showing you the proper technique for that. So the only 2 products I'm using today is hair tonics that I'm massaging my scalp every day, 5 to 10 minutes. And I've been using a shampoo with caffeine, Alpacin, that I've been ordering from Amazon. I've been using this shampoo ever since I started with my Redlight Therapy. So this is just the 2 products I'm using right now. Back in 2018, I tried out a treatment called PRP. That stands for platelet-rich plasma, and it has another name too, called vampire treatment. And this is actually a medical procedure you're doing. You are actually pulling out a small amount of blood from your body that you put in a small tube. And they take the blood in the tube into a machine that is rotating really fast, and you get this centrifuge effect that allows you to separate the blood from the plasma in your blood. So you're separating the plasma, and they are pulling out the plasma in a syringe. And they're putting it back to your so-called problem areas, because you can actually use PRP for sport injuries, wrinkles, or even sun damaging. It helps you to heal much more faster. And actually, I think it was just a few weeks ago, I am following one of the world's strongest men, Brian Shaw. I think he's a great guy. He was actually he actually had a sport injury. It was a really nasty look at it, but he went to a doctor, and they didn't say which kind of treatment they did, but I think they were using PRP on him, because they were pulling out a small amount of blood on him, and they put out the plasma and they put it back into his injury so it would heal much more faster. So I thought it was really interesting seeing that he's actually the first one that I've been seeing using this kind of treatment for sport injuries. Anyway, so I decided to do this treatment. It cost me around $1,200 to do this. I got around 10 treatments, I think. I do the treatments 1 time every month or every 3rd week. And after the treatment, I felt that the result was quite good. And if I compare the price and the result, I don't think it's worth the money. It costs too much. So I believe if you are doing PRP, it's very wise to do a combination with other treatments. So I am actually considering using PRP again, but maybe only 1 or 2 times per year instead. If you haven't done it yet, subscribe to the channel. So after my PRP treatment, I got a little bit stressed up because I had found a treatment that helped me, but it was too expensive. So I found a few YouTubers who began to talk about the derma roller, and sadly I began to listen on the wrong people. The people I was listening on suggested that you should press so hard so you could see the blood. If you didn't see any blood, you didn't press hard enough. So I followed their recommendation, and it did more harm than use for me. So it ended up that I stressed my hair a lot. I lost hair, and I think I injured my scalp a little bit. And I also sliced off a lot of hair when I did this. It felt like a pizza slicer, and I got all cut up in the derma roller. The hair got cut up in the derma roller, so it was stuck sometime. So I stopped using the derma roller, went to Alibaba and ordered this machine that I have. I've been owning this for a few years now. So instead of rolling it over my head, the pen is putting out the needles straight down to the skin, and I don't get caught in my hair at the same as I did with the derma roller. I had quite good result with this. Some are recommending you to do this every third day or every week. I did that in the beginning. I didn't feel that it helped me that much. So I started to use it 1 or 2 times per month instead. And that gave me better results, I believe. But last year I was very stressed up at work, so I stopped using my microneedle, and I began to eat very bad. I had a poor diet, and I didn't work out either. So I started to read about LLT or Redlight Therapy, and I got really interesting about it because I have some sport injury. I was thinking maybe this can help me. And even so, I read like Redlight Therapy can help you against hair loss. So I purchased a device, but 2 months before I got my device, I started to work out more and begin to eat better. So the result that I got from my Redlight device, I don't want to give all the credit to my Redlight device, because I believe it's also the changes I did in my lifestyle. I began to sleep better with my Redlight Therapy device, and I think it was a combination with me working out and taking care of my body more, helped me to gain back my hair. So after a while I started to use my microneedle pen. So my monthly routine now is that I'm using the derma roller 1 to 2 times per month, and I'm using it on a depth between 0.5 to 1.0 millimeter, not more than that. I believe that if I'm doing it more deeper, it will harm my scalp. So I'm letting the microneedles to stimulate the top layers of the skin, and I'm letting the red light to stimulate the hair roots instead. And actually there are some studies that suggest that LLT can prevent or block DHT. That is a male hormone that can also be one of the main causes why you're losing the hair. But I'm not sure if that is entirely true. They have to do more studies about that. But anyway, so I'm using the microneedling, my Redlight Therapy device every other day for about 15 minutes now. and I have decided to step a little bit more away from my device. So I have a distance for about, I think it's more about 40 centimeters distance from the device, only because I want to have a lower energy density exposure on my scalp. And it's only because I've been reading some studies that suggest that lower energy density maybe is a key factor to get good hair results. So I'm doing that. I'm using my caffeine shampoo and my hair tonic that is forcing me to massage my scalp. So guys, that is all of my routines with my hair. As I said, this is out of my comfort zone and I have to laugh about it because I thought I would never do this video. And hopefully this will help you guys to decide which kind of treatments you want to do. And if you are new on this channel, please consider to subscribe. It will really help me and support me on the work I'm trying to do here. And hopefully I will see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.